first fish to start with. Flipping 25-pound line. This stuff's super thick. Whenever the cover gets really flooded, this is the, you want to really go to a heavier line. I'm using real compact presentations. These beaver style baits. This is a Strike King structure bug, and just got it on like a 1/2 ounce weight. That bait's a little tore up. We'll get us another one here real quick, but she's using a straight shank flipping hook. And I'm basically, what I'm doing is I'm looking for really dark areas. That fish was back in some vines along a tree, real shaded, dark. It's the new stuff that's in the water. They didn't come up immediately when the water rose. So I'm trying to get back into the cover as far as I can. Looking to get in the deepest part of the cover, the darkest part. When you look at a piece of cover, wherever it looks the darkest, that's where I want to try to get my bait. So that's a good first fish. We'll see how it goes. This water's got some pretty good color to it, so I like that blue flash and black. I like to go whichever side is the brightest side on the plastic, put the hook point down and come out that brighter side. I don't know that it matters. I just feel like if it does sit on the ground, it's gonna sit like this. The darker side's on the back. Everything in the wild, their darkest side's on the top, their lighter side's on their belly, so I just kind of always rig my plastics that way. But that's one of the critical pieces right there of the MC bobber stop right there. I've got a little weight and a bead. I've always liked the bead. I'm just fishing on the river, that's what I always did. Gives it a little bit of noise. But that's a simple rig right there. It's as simple as it gets. It's just a matter of how many targets can I hit in one day. The other thing about flipping cover when it's really super flooded, you know, the lake's 4 feet higher than it normally is. It goes way back up in that stuff. So when I come up to an area like this, it's got all these bushes, trees, everything, I'm gonna power pole down. That's a big deal. That's probably the most critical element of having a power pole is there's so much cover here. It takes me a couple minutes to fish through it all. If I just let myself drift or ease along with the trolling motor, I miss half of the targets. You miss half the fish because you went by them so fast. So you really need a way to slow yourself down, whether that's, you know, working against the wind, so you can kind of keep yourself at a steady pace, using something like power poles or talons, even staking down. I've seen guys do that flipping shallow. They'll stake themselves down so they don't move around. So this might take me 10 flips to flip a piece of cover like that. Then I got more bushes, I've got trees, I've got everything in here that I want to hit with before I move around to the next little patch of cover. So that's a good one. Another solid fish. 2-pounder, 2.5 pounder. Again, deep in that tree right back there. I don't know if you can see back in there, but he was deep in there. Had to make a real long shot up in there and get that fish. You go through these stretches where you might go an hour and not get a bite because there's so much cover to flip, and then you get in a stretch and for 100 yards you catch 5 good ones. You know, you catch 3 or 4. It seems to be key to get it way back in there. Can't just pitch on the fringe a lot of times. It can change over the span of a few days. You just have to kind of keep experimenting. And I won't, you know, it's not like once I figure it out too, I'm like, oh man, I'm only gonna fish these trees. No, I mean, it's not that exact of a science. I'm still gonna fish a lot of the cover that looks good to me, even if it's not exactly what a lot of the fish have been coming on. Because, you know, we've caught them on 3 different kinds of trees and bushes, and I mean, so there doesn't seem to be like, oh, I'm just gonna look for this kind of tree. It seems like it's more of, it's just how protected it is, what to do. And this is a pretty tough deal if you don't fish a lot. I told them, you know, if your kids can't be on the water fishing, go out there and pitch around the shrubs and flower bushes in your yard. And make sure your parents are cool with it, but I beat the leaves off of a bunch of bushes there at my house, practicing flipping in front of my house when I couldn't be on the water. It just felt tight when I picked up on it there. I thought one had it. just the way it's on those branches. That's the thing, when it falls down through there, it goes kind of all different angles. It gets itself weaved in those branches, and sometimes you'll pick up on it. It feels tight. That's why I tell people, you gotta, if you think you got one, you check it for a second, just kind of hold, and if he's on, he'll move. If you're real still, he'll move. Don't wait too long, especially in a gnarly piece of cover like that. That's a big thing. Is I don't think you have to set the hook overly hard, but what I like, Bolton and I set the hook completely different. He sets it really fast. He's a fast hook setter. I am more of a leverage hook setter, and I want to reel down to the fish and move them with my hook set. I want to drive the hook, but I want to, as much as anything, I want him, before he realizes what's going on, I want to control what direction he starts going. So I used to do the super fast hook set thing, and I got to where I was breaking off so much. I think just the shock strength of the line can't handle just whip snapping with any slack in your line. Bolton's really good at it. I'm not really good at it, so I found a better way that works for me. The main thing is to set your hook and get that fish coming out of the cover. You can get him out of there and up on top and across it before he really gets into his fight. You've got a chance. I think of fish like in a place like that, I think they back into it like a carport. They just want to back in there and feel secure in their little garage. So you got to get your bait into that little carport he's sitting in. So I look up in a piece of cover and I see, like, man, there's the little lane and the little dark place where I can get a bait back in there pretty far. Get back in there as far as you can. You're trying to get to those fish that have been pressured deeper into the cover. Fish other people aren't getting to. Like right there, I mean, one bites, I have to go get him. I cannot get him over the top of that branch, but that's the only way I can get in right from that angle. That's why, I mean, everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you use those big rods and 25-pound line. You know, yeah, you don't have to have that to land a 5-pound bass. You do have to have that to keep him hooked and that kind of stuff. It's just not gonna happen with 10-pound line. Yeah, it's a lot more fun to fight them that way. You're just gonna lose them all, is all that's gonna happen. You're gonna pitch in there with 10-pound line, he's gonna run you that way under a branch and the line's gonna stretch so much, you're not gonna be able to apply enough force to move him. Have a stretch where we're just like bam, 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 bam. You just hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him. And then you have some lull periods. I don't know if they're just, you know, the banks aren't right, or it's like over here, the water goes so much further back in there. They're probably back in there further. I just can't get to them. That's the other thing you want to play, like, so this bank's not right, say at this water level, say it's 4 feet high. Well, when the water's 2 foot over summer pool, suddenly all this stuff might be really good because all that water back there, they're not gonna be able to get in. They're only gonna be able to get on this stuff on this outside edge. So that's something you don't just ride off. Like, I caught fish over there. It might actually be better over here as the water comes down. You know, because some of this cover will be set up right where it's too deep right now and it's right over there. And as the water goes down, that won't be in the water over there. So if you get in an area, kind of what I'm getting at is if you get in an area where you've caught some fish, you know, those same fish may be more on this side the next time as the water comes down. So it's just something to think about, you know. I have seen a few shad spawning on the bushes. Felt like one bit it right there. It did. There we go. That's a big one. Don't give up because you go through a little lull period. Woo, that's all pressure. Keep that fish pressured up. That's what I'm talking about right there. It's a nice bass. He was in them vines right there, so. That's a good fish. I'm gonna let her go. Oh, that's where it's gonna happen. Told you.
Just called it. I said,
What's gonna happen there?
he said, I told you. I was looking right at it.